Hello, guys, and welcome back to another edition of Baseball Talk with your brothers. And today, got an interesting video I wanted to kind of look at and kind of project out potential debuting prospects that can make an impact for their team in 2026. Now, there's a few things that I went off of when looking at a list like this, and for starters, if you have one game of experience in the MLB, you're not on this list. These are players that have not played a game in Major League Baseball yet that will be debuting in 2026. Trey Savage threw 14 innings pitched last year, will not be part of this video. Jonah Tong, he pitched in September for the Mets, will not be part of this video. Carter Jensen for the Royals, played last year at the end of the year, will not be part of this video. So it'll be interesting to see who teams, if you're a fan of a team, who you could be looking at as potentially a prospect that is going to come on up and could make an impact in 2026. We'll start in the American League East with the Toronto Blue Jays. Ricky Tiedemann, left-handed pitcher, was drafted in 2021 in the third round, has dealt with injuries, which is why it's taken him this long to make it up. He's currently the fourth-rated prospect in the Blue Jays system. 65 fastball, 55 slider, 65 changeup, 45 control, 50 overall. Just someone we're going to hope to see healthy this year. Did not pitch in 2025, so it might take him a minute to get up to the MLB. But when you look around to the Toronto Blue Jays, Trey Savage made his debut last year. He was the number one prospect in the system. JoJo Parker's not expected up until 2029. Arjun Namala, 2028. Ricky Tiedemann's expected up this year. Johnny King, 2028. Gage Stanifer, 2027. So a lot of their top guys are not projected to be on the major league team this year or have already debuted. And that is something that I did run into with a few teams on this list. So the player for the Blue Jays to look out for, left-handed pitcher Ricky Tiedemann, who I think could be probably a swing man in the bullpen, or if there's injuries to the starting rotation, someone who can break the starting rotation. The Yankees are an interesting one here because I could have gone a couple of different ways. I could have gone with the bat. I could have gone with Spencer Jones, an outfielder who is a 2022 first-round draft pick who's expected up this season. I could have gone with Carlos LaGrange, who is a signing out of the Dominican Republic in 2022, who is actually a higher-rated prospect than the one I picked here in Elmer Rodriguez. I went with Elmer Rodriguez, a 2021 fourth-round draft pick of the Boston Red Sox, part of the Carlos Narvaez trade last year. 55 fastball, 50 curveball, 55 slider, 50 splitter, 45 control, 55 overall. Last year, he did get up to AAA, but very, very limited, only 5 innings pitched. In AA, 61 in the third innings pitched, a 2.64 ERA, a 5-3 record. The other guy I could have gone with was Carlos LaGrange, who did get up to somersault AA as well, but did not reach AAA. So I went with Elmer Rodriguez Cruz, right-handed pitcher for the New York Yankees, their third-rated prospect and the 97th rated prospect in all baseball. The Red Sox were a tricky one for me because they have a lot of guys who have made their debut or are nowhere near making their debut. Their top-rated prospect is Franklin Arias, 2027 guy. Peyton Toley's already made his debut. Kyson Witherspoon, I think, is a 2027 guy. He's somebody who can be on this list next year, but maybe not this year. Conor Early has already made his debut. Justin Gonzalez is not until 2029, which leads me to infielder Mikey Romero, who was a 2022 first-round pick, 24th overall from Boston. 45 hit, 50 power, 50 run, 50 arm, 50 field, 45 overall grade. He did make it up to Worcester last year in AAA. Slash 232, 276, 469 for a 745 OPS, 9 home runs, 36 RBIs in 45 games in AAA. Is he somebody who's going to make it out of camp? Probably not, but there's not really many guys in the Red Sox system that I think will break camp like that. So Mikey Romero, the 6th-rated prospect for the Red Sox, is where I'm looking at there. Moving on to the Baltimore Orioles, where we have Enrique Bradfield Jr. This is another system where you have a lot of guys who are either far away or guys have made their debut. Samuel Basallo, Dylan Beavers have both made their debuts. Their first-round draft pick last year, 19th overall. Ike Irish is expected up in 2028 out of Auburn, which leads us to Enrique Bradfield Jr., who is expected up this year, the number 4 rated prospect in this Orioles system. Has a really good, basically, he's going to be more of a glove first outfielder, a 70 fielding, 80 run, 45 arm though, but 50 hit. So he's going to be probably a slap and run, play defense, probably could be center fielder potentially for the Baltimore Orioles, potentially could break camp this year and make an impact for the Baltimore Orioles. Wrapping up the AL East, we have the Tampa Bay Rays, where we're going to go right-handed pitcher Brody Hopkins, the top prospect in the system. Carson Williams did make his debut last year, really struggled. Theo Gillen is nowhere near his debut projected debut in 2028, which leads us to Brody Hopkins, who was part of the Randy Arozarena trade. 60 fastball, 50 curveball, 60 slider, 50 cutter, 45 changeup, 45 control, 50 overall. He's somebody who will throw the kitchen sink at you and could be somebody who doesn't break camp but can make his debut with the Rays this year. He'll probably start the year in Durham, get a month or two underneath him, and then they'll probably call him up. In Montgomery last year, 2.72 ERA in 25 games. 25 starts, 116 innings pitched. Looked really strong with the Tampa Bay Rays system. On to the American League Central, and this one was one of my first obvious picks. And this is Kevin McGonigal of the Detroit Tigers. Now, you could have gone Max Clark as well, who could be debuting this year, got up to Double-A Erie last year. But we're going to go with Kevin McGonigal, who is also Double-A Erie, but has the potential to break camp with the Detroit Tigers or may spend a couple weeks in AAA for, I believe, Toledo. Last year, slashed 254, 369, 550 for a 919 OPS, 12 home runs, 41 RBIs in 46 games in Double-A with Erie. I believe they made the Double-A championship where they fell to the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. 70 hit grade, 55 power, 55 run, 50 arm, 50 field, 65 overall grade prospect. And he is the number 2 rated prospect in all of baseball, number 1 in the Tiger system. Max Clark, I believe, is a top 10 prospect as well, someone to keep an eye out for. But then this one was pretty simple. Kevin McGonigal of the Detroit Tigers. The next one's a very easy one for me as well. Someone who made it up to AAA last year for the Cleveland Guardians, and is their number 1 prospect in their system. Travis Bazzana, second baseman, number 1 in the systems, number 17 overall. 65 hit, 55 power, 60 run, 50 arm, 50 field, 60 overall. He was the first overall pick in 2024 out of Oregon State, and I believe was the Golden Spikes winner that year, the year that he was drafted. Bazzana last year went from rookie ball to Double-A to Triple-A, and he hit really well in Triple-A. 225 average, but a 420 on base, a 438 slug, and an 858 OPS. Had 4 home runs and 14 RBIs in 26 games in AAA. Moved up really fast through the system and is someone that maybe could break camp for the Cleveland Guardians. If not, will be up within the first couple months, but is somebody who I think can break camp. Next, we have the Kansas City Royals, which was a very tricky one for me because they got a lot of guys that are far away or have made their debut. Carter Jensen's already made his debut for the Royals. Blake Mitchell's not until 2027. Sean Gamble, Josh Hammond were both first-round picks last year. Then they got Ricardo, which is 2029. David Shields, which is 2029. Bet Kudnar. But I don't know how much of an impact he's going to make this year. He had a 14 ERA, granted only 11 1/3 innings pitched with Omaha last year. It had a 4.21 ERA with Northwestern Arkansas. And then it led me down all the way to Steven Zobek, the 11th rated prospect in this system, who also kind of struggled in Double-A. This one was a weird one. I don't have a good answer for the Kansas City Royals because he really struggled as well. But maybe he's somebody who can be a bullpen piece in 2026 for the Kansas City Royals. Was drafted in 2022 in the 4th round, 115th overall. Not a great answer for the Royals, but they did not give me many options to choose from. So I went with Steven Zobek. Next one is somebody I am very high on that I thought could have won the Rookie of the Year last year that never broke camp and really struggled in AAA, but I think this will be the year that he can get up. Now, I could have gone with Braden Montgomery, who's the number 1 rated prospect in the White Sox system and is a top 20 prospect in all of baseball. But I'm going to go with my guy, Noah Schultz, left-handed pitcher, who was drafted in 2022, first overall. In the first round, 26th overall, 60 fastball, 65 sliders, 50 changeup, 50 control, 55 overall. That is one thing he did struggle with last year in Charlotte was his control. 9 walks and 16 in the third innings pitched, really struggled there. Had a 9.37 ERA, but struggled with injuries throughout all of last year. And I think is somebody who, even if he doesn't break camp, he will be up within the first month or two, and is someone who should get significant time with the Chicago White Sox to really see how it plays out. Noah Schultz still, I believe, he's not even 23 yet. He's 22. He'll be 23 in August. Somebody who I think will break camp and is getting comps to Randy Johnson, just the way he pitches and his style. Obviously not the talent of Randy Johnson, obviously, but somebody who I think could be very, very good once he makes it to the major leagues. We'll move on to the AL West. Got an obvious one here. Colt Emerson of the Seattle Mariners, the number 1 rated prospect in the Mariners system, the number 9 rated prospect in all of baseball. Drafted in 2023, 22nd overall in the first round, 65 grade hit tool, 50 grade power, 50 grade run, 55 arm, 50 field, 60 overall. Last year, killed it with Tacoma. Only 6 games though, but a 364, 444, 727 for an 1171. He spent most of his time in high A last year, but moved up really quick as he spent 34 games in double A, where he had a 282, 360, 430 slash line for a 790 OPS. Definitely somebody who I think can get some run this year with the Seattle Mariners at that shortstop position, especially with JP Crawford. Probably not the answer for them long term, and I think that he is somebody that you can absolutely get some run here for the Mariners this season. The Astros are a tricky one here because they have a couple guys who have made their debut, or mostly guys who have not or are nowhere close to making their debut. Their top prospect, Bryce Matthews, has already made his debut last year. Then you have Xavier Nyans, which is a 2029 guy. He was a first-round draft pick last year out of high school. Walker Janix, more 2027. Aloya could be one of those guys. Did pitch in Sugarland last year. But I went with Ethan Pecco, who was up in AAA. He was a 6th-round draft pick in 2023, 55 grade fastball, 45 grade curveball, 50 slider, 50 cutter, 45 change, 50 overall, 50 control, 45 overall. Last year in Sugarland, threw 35 innings to a 3.09 ERA, 248 opponent's batting average, only 35 innings. But I think that he is somebody who can probably come up and be decent in the bullpen. He could probably play a role similar to AJ Blueball did last year for the Astros, something along those lines. They don't have many good options. The Astros were not one of those teams that had good options for me to choose from. But I went with Ethan Pecco, number 10 rated prospect in the Astros system. Let's keep it going in the AL West. This is one of the first really fun ones here. The number 1 rated prospect in the Rangers system, the number 6 rated prospect in all of baseball, Sebastian Walcott, second base and shortstop and third baseman. With his build, I think he's more of a third baseman, but he could still be a very good shortstop. 50 grade hit, 65 power, 55 grade run, 70 grade arm, 50 grade field, 60 overall. He was signed in 2023. And he is 19 years old. He made it up to Double A last year, where he hit pretty well, 255, 355, 386 for a 741 in his age 18 season. His age 19 season, my bad. He'll be 20 in March. And he is somebody, he won't break camp. I don't think he will, but he is somebody who absolutely can make an impact with the Texas Rangers this year, especially if there's injuries and things along those lines. Look out for Sebastian Walcott, one of the best prospects in all of baseball. Let's keep it going. The Athletics, we have Gage Jump, left-handed pitcher, the number 3 rated prospect in the athletic system, number 60 overall. There are 2 guys above him. Jamie Arnold, 2027 guy. Leo DeVries could be one of those guys that gets the call this year as well. He is 19 and he'll be 20 in October. Leo DeVries, I could have easily put Leo DeVries on this list. I probably should have, but I wanted to highlight Gage Jump and what he did last year. He was the 73rd pick in the 2024 draft. And last year in Double-A, threw to a 3.64 ERA, an 81 2/3 innings pitched, a 224 opponent's batting average, just shot up prospect boards and things along those lines. And with the Athletics being in the PCL, would not be surprised if he spends very, very little time in the Pacific Coast League and gets the call up to the major leagues, especially with a team in the Athletics who can really use some pitching at the major league level. I like Gage Jump here to make an impact, but Leo DeVries is absolutely a great answer for this team as well. Moving on to the Los Angeles Angels, finishing up the American League here with Tyler Bremner, right-handed pitcher, the number 1 rated prospect in the Angel system, the 91st rated prospect in all of baseball, and the only player on this list from the 2025 MLB draft, because why not? The Angels love to rush all of their prospects as quickly as humanly possible. He did not pitch at all last year. He won't break camp with the team, but he is someone within a couple months that would not shock me to see make the major leagues. 65 fastball, 50 slider, 65 changeup, 55 control, 55 overall out of UC Santa Barbara. Not much for stats to go over with him because there's really not much because he really has not made his pro debut yet. But he's somebody who can make his pro debut and his major league debut in the same season, especially with this franchise. Tyler Bremner, right-handed pitcher of the Angels, for me there. Into the National League, we have the Philadelphia Phillies, which you could have gone a couple different ways here. You could have gone with Justin Crawford, their 3rd-rated prospect. You could have gone with Aiden Miller as well, their 2nd-rated prospect, both expected up in 2026. I went with the arm. I went with Andrew Painter in the for this exercise, the 13th overall pick in the 2021 draft, who has been significantly hampered by injuries, and he was coming off of Tommy John surgery last year. A 70-grade fastball, 50-grade curveball, 60-grade slider, 55-grade changeup, 65 control, 60 overall. He is a pitcher that last year got up to AAA, struggled, but he is somebody who I absolutely think has an opportunity to break camp with the rotation the way it is, with losing Ranger Suarez, with the status of Zach Wheeler up in the air. Andrew Painter has been that prospect for a while that should have made his debut a couple years ago if it wasn't for Tommy John surgery, and I think absolutely will make his debut this year, and I think he can be pretty good with the Philadelphia Phillies as well. Moving on, the New York Mets is Carson Bench, the outfielder out of Oklahoma State, drafted back in 2024, first round, 19th overall. He was a two-position player. He was a pitcher as well, but he has now focused on only offense, which he has a 60-grade hit tool, 50-grade power, 55 run, 60 arm, 55 field, 55 overall. Will give you solid defense from center field and above average defense from the corner outfields. Last year, he went from Brooklyn to Syracuse really, really quick. Struggled in Syracuse, but he did in one of his first games in AAA get hit in the hand. And then when he came back from that injury, just did not look the same. He is somebody who David Stearns has absolutely put on the map, saying that he is going to get every chance to break camp with this team this year, and that made Carson Bench the easy pick here for the New York Mets to break camp and to make an impact with the New York Mets in 2026. Next, we have them fighting fish, the Miami Marlins. Robbie Snelling, the 4th-rated prospect in the system, number 51 overall. I could have My bad. I couldn't have gone with Owen Casey, their third-rated prospect, because he made his debut with the Cubs last year. Ava Arquette is projected up in 2028. I could have gone with Thomas White, who is projected up in 2026 as well. But I think Robbie Snelling will be called up sooner and make the bigger impact than Thomas White will. Robbie Snelling, a left-handed pitcher who made it up to AAA last year in 2022, was the 39 overall pick in the draft. He was part of a trade. What trade was he part of? He was part of the Tanner Scott trade that sent Tanner Scott from Miami to San Diego. He was the return. He was part of that return for that with him, where it was him and a couple other prospects went that way. Robbie Snelling got up to AAA last year and was phenomenal in 63 2/3 innings pitched, a 1.27 ERA, 11 starts, a 203 opponent batting average. Was amazing. He's somebody who I think potentially could break camp, especially with the Marlins trading away Ryan Weathers and Edward Cabrera. I expect Snelling to be in the rotation really soon and Thomas White later in the year, but I think Robbie Snelling will be around longer in this season. He'll be up earlier, which will give him the greater chance to make an impact on the Miami Marlins. Robbie Snelling, left-handed pitcher, Marlins for me for them. Moving on to the Atlanta Braves and J.R. Ritchie, a right-handed pitcher, their second-rated prospect in their system, the 86th ranked prospect in Major League Baseball. Their top prospect is not due up until 2027 with Cam Caminiti. And J.R. Ritchie, I think, absolutely can break camp with the Atlanta Braves this year. 55 fastball, 55 slider, 50 changeup, 50 control, 55 overall. Just a solid pitcher. Made it up to AAA last year. Got 11 starts, 59 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.02 ERA. Someone that, especially with the volatility and the injury risk of this Atlanta Braves starting rotation, I think can absolutely get some time pitching, starting for the Atlanta Braves this year. J.R. Ritchie is somebody you should keep an eye out for. The Washington Nationals were one of the toughest teams for me to do because all of their prospects are years away. Eli Willits, the first overall pick in last year's draft, 2028. Harry Ford made his debut at Seattle last year, so he's not eligible for this list. Travis Segura, 2028. Harlan Susana, 2027. Gavin Feen, 2029. Down the list, Luis Perales, 2027. And it really got to a point where I didn't know who to pick, and then I eventually got down to Christian Franklin, the 16th rated prospect in the system, 4th round draft pick in 2021. He's an okay prospect, a 45 overall prospect, 50 hit, 45 power, 50 run, 55 arm, 50 field. Last year got up to AAA Rochester /290, 382, 427, and 809 OPS. Could be somebody who gets up to the major leagues this year. The Nationals were very difficult because all of their top guys are years away. The Milwaukee Brewers come in here as we get into the National League Central, and we're going to go with Jet Williams, shortstop, second base, outfielder, the third-rated prospect in the Brewers system, the 30th ranked prospect in all of Major League Baseball. Last year got up to AAA with the Syracuse Mets. He was part of the Freddie Peralta trade. Him and Brendan Sproat went to Milwaukee in exchange for Freddie Peralta and Tobias Myers. Jet Williams has been somebody who the Mets really liked. They drafted him 14th overall in 2022 and really, I think, got overshadowed by A.J. Ewing in that system. But last year, /209, 285, 433, a 718 OPS in Syracuse in 34 games. He was better in Binghamton in 96 games, where he had an 867 OPS. He is one of those short kings, 5'7", that can play all around the field. He can play some shortstop, some second base, some outfield. So he is definitely could be one of those super utility guys that the Brewers really like. So Jet Williams for me with the Milwaukee Brewers. I think can also get some time this year because Caleb Durbin, I believe, was just traded this morning, the 9th. I'm recording on the 9th. I think I'm posting this on the 10th. He was traded this morning. So I think Jet Williams can break camp with the Brewers. And and get some decent playing time. And also for the Brewers, their top guys, I don't expect them up until 2027 with Jesus Mate and Luis Pena. The Chicago Cubbies, we have Jackson Wiggins, a right-handed pitcher, the number 2 prospect in the system, number 67 prospect overall. Their top prospect, Moises Ballesteros, got some action last year. Jackson Wiggins did not in Chicago, and he ended up being my pick for the Cubbies. 65 fastball, 60 slider, 55 changeup, 45 control, 55 overall. Someone I'm very interested to see make his debut this year. Last year with Iowa, struggled a little bit. Spent most of his year in Knoxville, where he had 42 innings pitched, a 1.93 ERA. He did struggle to stay on the field last year, as he had 26 in the third innings pitched in high A, 42 in double A, 9 and 2/3 in triple A. So someone who definitely struggled to stay on the field. But I think if he's healthy, can absolutely make an impact in 2026 for the Chicago Cubs, especially if one of their pitchers go down in that rotation. He is somebody to definitely keep an eye out for. Plus, they really don't have any other decent prospects other than like a Kevin Alcantara that is anywhere close to making their debut. So for me, it's Jackson Wiggins, who I think can take a big step up this year for the Chicago Cubs. Another tricky team because a lot of their top prospects have already made their debut or years away. Sal Stewart's already made his debut. Alfredo Duno's years away. Tyson Lewis is years away. Steele Hall was a first-round draft pick last year. Brett Lauder's made his debut. Cam Collier has not made his debut, but is projected up in 2027. Chase Petty's made his debut, which lands us on Edwin Arroyo, shortstop, who's projected up to be up this year. I don't know when, honestly. He made it up to Double-A Chattanooga this year, had a 716 OPS, 50 hit, 45 power, 55 run, 60 arm, 60 field, 50 overall. The 8th rated prospect in the Cincinnati Reds system. Don't have too much on him because he's just one of those depth guys in the system that will probably make his debut this year. And all their other top guys are either years away or have made their debut already. So not too much for Edwin Arroyo, but somebody who could make their debut and have a little bit of an impact for the Cincinnati Reds. The St. Louis Cardinals, this one was an easy one for me, and that is J.J. Weatherholt, the now 5th rated prospect in all of baseball, number 1 in the Cardinals system. Did make it up to AAA last year and absolutely mashed in AAA 47 games, a 978 OPS with 10 home runs. Absolutely mashed. And I think he breaks camp easily with the St. Louis Cardinals. Someone I was hyping up to be the number 1 overall pick in the 2024 draft, which ended up being Travis Bazzana. I had Weatherholt as the number 1. I thought he should have been number 1. He dropped number 7 to the Cardinals. And I absolutely love the draft pick for the Cardinals here. 65 hit, 55 power, 55 run, 50. So out of West Virginia, was absolutely dominant last year, and I think breaks camp with the St. Louis Cardinals. Let's conclude the NL Central with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and there's one guy and one guy only I can talk about here with the Pittsburgh Pirates, and it's Connor Griffin, the number 1 rated prospect in the Pirate system, the number 1 rated prospect in all baseball. Absolute freak. Shortstop and outfielder who made it up to Double-A last year at 19 years old. He'll be 20 in April. 55 hit, 60 power, 70 run, 70 arm, 60 field, 65 overall. The best prospect in all of baseball, and somebody who should absolutely break camp, which sounds crazy for someone who will not be 20 before opening day. But I don't know what else he needs to prove, maybe other than a couple games in AAA, and even then, there's no need. With Altoona last year in Double-A, played 21 games, / 337, 418, 542 for a 960 OPS, had 900 OPSs through all 3 levels. And this was his first professional year out of high school. And he was slashing 900 OPS, 932 in low A, 942 in high A, 960 in Double-A. Oh, yeah. He also stole 65 bases among the 3 levels, 26 in low A, 33 in high A, 6 in Double-A. Absolutely should break camp. and he is an elite defensive shortstop. And if he's not good enough at the shortstop position, oh yeah, he can also provide elite center field defense as well. So elite defense in multiple positions, slashing in the 900s. Absolutely should break camp for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm absolutely in love with Connor Griffin, and I think that the Pittsburgh Pirates season could depend on whether or not he breaks camp, because if he breaks camp, he wins the Rookie of the Year. He's absolutely my pick to win the Rookie of the Year in the National League this year, and that's even with guys with like Nolan McLean, Carson Bench, Sal Stewart to keep an eye out for in the National League. But Connor Griffin's by far the best prospect in all of baseball. Let's head to the National League West, and we'll which will be the last division to go over. And for the Dodgers, we have Jackson Ferris, a left-handed pitcher, the number 6 rated prospect in the system, number 98 overall. He finished the year in Double-A for Tulsa, had a 3.86 ERA on 126 innings pitched. Someone with the volatility and the injury risk that the rotation for the Dodgers has, I think can absolutely break camp. Or not break camp, but can make the Major League club this year. 60 fastball, 55 grade curveball, 60 grade slider, 50 changeup, 45 control, 55 overall. And for the Dodgers, it's really a lot of their top guys are nowhere close. Josue DePaula, the 2027 guy, Zaire Hope 2027, Edward Quintaro 2028, Alex Freeland already made his debut, Mike Sirota 2027. Jackson Ferris, I think, is the best prospect on this list that has not made their debut yet. That can in 2026. So I'll look for the lefty to get some action for the Dodgers this year. Padres, another tough one. We have a couple tough ones with the Padres, and then into the Giants to talk about, because they don't have much of a farm system. The Padres, good luck finding somebody who will have any type of impact, because if they have any chance of impact, AJ Preller will trade them away. We got Miguel Mendez, who made it up to AAA last year. No, Double-A, my bad. Had an 8.06 ERA, but could maybe be out of the bullpen. I'm not a fan of any of the prospects for the Padres. Salas is projected 2027. I really like Cruz Schoolcraft, but he's projected up in 2029. He was a first-round pick out of high school last year. Humberto Cruz is projected up in 2029. Cash Mayfield, 2028. They really don't have many options for me to pick from. So Miguel Mendez, I guess it is the guy there for them. Next up, we have the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it's their top prospect in their system, Ryan Walschmidt, outfielder who made it up to Double-A Amarillo last year, had a 921 OPS in 66 games, looked really good. I think could get the call up to the major leagues this year. I don't think he's going to spend too much time in AAA. He was the 31st overall pick of the 2024 draft. 50 hit, 55 power, 55 run, 40 arm, 45 field, 55 overall. More of a bat first prospect that's going to probably play some corner outfield, but is somebody who I absolutely see making their debut, especially with the state of the outfield for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I can see them making that call up little, probably May area for Ryan Walschmidt. If not, potentially has a chance to break camp. So for the Diamondbacks, it's Ryan Walschmidt. The Giants were tough because they have a lot of guys that have either made their debut or are nowhere close to making their debut. Bryce Eldridge, their top prospect, already made their debut. Joshua Gonzalez is in rookie ball, expected in 2029. Gavin Keelan, who is their first-round draft pick last year, due up in 2028. Johnny Level, 2029. Bo Davidson, 2027. Dakota Jordan, 2027. Whisenhunt's already made his debut. Players like Tidwell's already made his debut. Leads me to Daniel Susac, catcher, first-round pick in 2022 of the Oakland Athletics. Was part of a trade a couple years ago. And I don't know. He was up in AAA last year at an 832 OPS. Could maybe be the backup catcher behind Patrick Bailey. The Giants don't really give me too much to choose from at all. But we'll head to the last team, which definitely gave me an easy choice, and that is Charlie Condon, first base and outfielder for the Colorado Rockies system. Number 2 rated prospect in the Rockies system, number 61 overall. The number 1 prospect in the Rockies system is Ethan Holiday, who is nowhere near ready for the major leagues. And Charlie Condon is. He made it up to Double-A Hartford last year. Did struggle a little bit. Swing and miss is going to be an issue for him. He had 67 strikeouts in 55 games in Double-A last year. Had an 807 OPS, 11 home runs. It's going to be his power that's going to carry him. He is a bat first, power first bat. 55 hits, 60 power, 40 run, 55 arm, 50 field, 55 overall. Somebody who I really want to see play in Coors Field this year, because with his power and that ballpark, can probably hit 50 home runs in that ballpark at some point in his Rockies career. Charlie Condon is the last guy we'll talk about here on today's video. I think he gets called up early in the season, if not potentially breaks camp with them, and is somebody who you can see make an impact for the Rockies in 2026. But that is the entire video here for one prospect, one debuting prospect from every single team that can make an impact in 2026. Let me know down in the comment section below who you think can make an impact for your team prospect-wise that has not debuted already. But that's going to do it for this one. I want to thank you guys as always for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.